Welcome to the Flower Gold Wizard channel. I'm Jason, and my dog Rigby and I are gold prospectors / outdoor enthusiasts. We find gold in the Midwestern states, and we're based in Wisconsin. If you think all the gold's out in California, Arizona, and Colorado, well, you'd be wrong. We do pretty darn good around here. There's 2 rules. 1, we have fun. 2, we find gold. So grab a cold brewski, hit that subscribe button, and let's see what we're up to today. Back in a bit. Well, today we're in western Wisconsin, and I've got a couple of small creeks in the area here that I've worked in the past a little bit. Both have great gold on them. I've got one in mind today that I found on Google Maps. It's got a real nice sharp hook in the creek, and I want to see if there's any good gold in it. As you can see, I'm at a campsite. I'm going to be here for a couple of days. It's getting a little bit later in the morning or closer to noon. It's 90 degrees, so it's going to be nice to get in the water. I think we're going to find some good gold down there, and it's just a short walk through the woods, which is one of the reasons I picked this campsite in particular. We're going to prospect today, and I brought all my big heavy gear, and we're going to mine tomorrow. So today I'm just going to bring a shovel, a pan, and a pail. Let's go see what we can find. Back in a bit. Well, we made it. It wasn't all that far of a walk through the woods there. Just it goes through the thorns. So that made it seem like a little bit longer, but that's no big deal. It was still in the shade. Now, as you can see my pail over there, that's where I came out of the woods. I followed a nice little muddy deer trail down, so that was easy walking. And I noticed right away that there was a couple of little deposits here and there. There's a big dead bird laying there. I shoveled him up and sent him packing, so the Rigby didn't roll in him. There's Rigby. He's trying to stay in the shade, then he goes in the sun and right back to the shade. It's hot. And I didn't find much in here. I did a couple of samples down inside in here, and I didn't even find one piece. And then I took a couple of samples right from up on that bank, and 1 or 2 pieces here and there. So I took a little walk up here, and I'm sure there's gold in between here and where I settled on this spot up here. But it sure looked interesting, so I tried it. And I'm getting between, 6 and 8 little pieces of gold per pin. Where is them little pieces of gold in here? Right up in here somewheres. Right in there. They're kind of floating around now, but I decided on this spot right here because if you look upstream, the creek is going around that way right there. So that right there is an inside bend, okay? You can see all that late wash sand right there. There's nothing in that. The creek is coming around and it's blasting in a straight line right here. Right directly here. It's bouncing off of that bank over there and off of that, and it's coming right directly here. So that's where I took my first couple shovels, and I'm finding decent gold. There's a nice big clay layer right here and a lot of gravel sitting up on top, and 5 times the black sand right here, and I was getting over in there. That's what I'm looking for, is lots of clay, lots of black sand, and some workable gravels on top of that clay. Now, I'm not gonna stay here and work this whole area, like I would mining. I'm just prospecting today, like I said. So I'm gonna do a couple of samples from in here, maybe a couple samples from in this little pile here. You can see it's kind of piled up right there a little bit, and then it gets a little bit deeper right here. And I'll go up around the corner over there. It looks like there's a nice little waterfall over there and on that inside bend. I'm sure there's something over there. Then I can set up my sluice or whatever. So today is going to pay off big for tomorrow. Let me find something special. We'll pick it up then. Back in a bit. All right, me and Rigby here. We're doing okay up there. Now, our last clip, we were way up there, but this spot right here that I'm standing on is the exact spot that I found on Google Maps. It's got this super switchback hard turn going right back that way. It's like a big, huge, real sharp S-turn. So I did one big sample pan on the inside bend, right, coming around down here and up towards the bank right in here. and instantly the pieces got bigger. Look at them. There's my finger right there. There's a couple of nice sized pieces right there. And there's a bunch of small little dots in here. I just kind of feathered this back real quick to save those big ones and some fresh water, but that's promising. I would rather work on them bigger pieces over here all day. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is when you look down here, there's a little settling pond right here. So I'm not really sure what to make of this here area. I mean, there's lots of, on this inside bend, there's lots of deposits to be worked. Look at all of them up against that bank there. So I'm gonna check spots all along up in here. And I don't know how deep that is in there. I can see some grass in there and whatnot, but you know, maybe that's like a little settling area for gold. I mean, that might be what a guy wants to look for. But until we get to that, we're gonna work our way down from there. We're doing pretty darn good. It's hot. Back in a bit. Well, I hope you guys can see all this here. There's some serious glare in here. There is gold all over in this here pan. All right, it's a little bit tougher to do with one hand than I really care to, but this pan, there's about 20 pieces in there. It's just scattered all over the place. So I think we're on to something here. I'm going to leave that spot right there alone. I'm going to move, I don't know, 3 feet downstream, and I'll try it 3 feet upstream. See if we have the same results. And if we do, there's going to be plenty of material for me to work on this bank right here for a whole day. And with this kind of gold, it won't take long to add up at all. So let me get back to work and we'll pick it up in a minute. Back in a bit. All right, we're still test panning here. We're working on this inside edge here, and we were getting really good gold right over there. And I just decided to move down a little bit, and I plugged a hole right over here, and I got down there almost 2 feet in that hole, and I still haven't hit any clay. And I think that is reflecting on my gold count, because here's what I got out of that hole right there. Them couple of tiny little pieces right there. I mean, they're not the tiniest. They're decent pieces for here, but I'm getting way more up there sitting on top of the clay, and I'm breaking it up, than I am down here in just gravel. And that's what that is. It's just gravel. There's no clay stopping the gold from going down inside of there. So I don't know if it's a matter of just moving up this way just a little bit. But you know, there is good gold to be had here. It's just a little something that you want to watch out for. If you start running out, well, are you still on the clay? Are you getting further or closer to the bank? You know, it could be a number of factors. So we're going to keep figuring this area out. And I'm going to head her back to the camper here and grab an ice cold beer, because man, oh man, it's hot. He's boiling up there too. Back in a bit. Well, we've got a slight change of plans. It's still hot, but I've been sampling this whole edge right here, and it just keeps getting better and better as I go up this way. Now I'm starting to lick a little bit of clay on typically on my second shovel full, I get out of one hole deep. And look at the gold I'm getting now. I had a little issue here, and there's a bunch of it down in here, but there's some nice pieces showing up in here, as you can see. And there were about 15 of them in there before I sloshed it around. And I'm just throwing them all in my pail here rather than mess around, you know, out here wasting time snuffing them up. So it's still pretty early. I'm gonna take a walk back up to the camper, grab a cold brewski, cool him down a little bit. I'm gonna get him wet down here, and we're gonna bring some gear down here, and we're gonna work tonight a little bit when it starts cooling down. It's just too darn nice out. There's no wind blowing, there's no mosquitoes. The black flies are out a little bit, but there's darn good gold, and I want it. So we're gonna go do that. Back in a bit. A little bit, yeah. There. Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, all right. Water's nice. All right, we're back. Went to the camper, had a nice cold beer, cooled Rigby down. He's over laying in the grass somewhere, you can't even see him. And I'm here with Dave. I met him down at the boat landing end of the place we're at. And he decided to come up and he wanted to see what I was doing down here today. And I got my big sluice set up and I'm just shoveling right into that baby. I found this spot earlier today, like we saw earlier, and a little prospecting paid off. I started way up there and I worked my way all the way down around this edge here, and here's some really good gold. And I'm doing some test pans here and there, and every one they're the same or getting better and bigger pieces too. Would you agree to that?
Oh yeah. Yep, absolutely.
All right, absolutely. So I'm going to let Dave hold the camera here, and I'm going to do a little shoveling on here, and just to show you how well this thing is running. I got about 2 inches of water on my splash plate here, and I got some decent pitch. We got our dam built real nice, and we're going to go ahead and shovel on there. Back in a bit. All right, I got a nice hole dug here. I'm getting some really nice gravels. See that? And I just now got down to the clay. And that's exactly where you want to be. A couple of the tips of my last 2 shovel holes had some nice gray clay on it. And that's exactly where the biggest gold, and in my opinion, the most gold is going to be in this body of water, is that top couple inches sitting on top of that clay. And this sluice here, I brought it down here for a reason. Because I can shovel fast and a lot of material on it, just like that. Come down here and they have all these big rocks here that are on there. I'll just take them and throw them over there and build my dam up a little bit better. It's as simple as that. So all we got to do now is break some back, and we're going to. Back in a bit. Video update 4003. Me and Dave are still here working. He's taking a fiber. I'm still punching a hole in the earth here. This baby's running well. I did one little clean out over there and just kind of briefly pulled it back, and we found, you know, a couple hundred pieces, I'm sure, but there's a lot more than that and that stuff. And my hole here is getting pretty big. And I'm just going to keep working my way up that way till I get around that corner up there just a little bit further. And then I'll probably move out just a little bit more. Wait, what is biting? Those little flies are biting me. So that's what's going on now. I'm going to keep at this. It's still 90 degrees and hot. Rigby's hiding in the shade somewhere. Back in a bit. Well, we're back at the camper. It is absolutely pouring. Check out this radar. So, we're stuck in here at the lightning and some hail and lots of rain. But I managed to scrape together a decent amount of concentrates here. And I got my big old pan here, and I got a sink right there with some water. Now my wife probably won't appreciate me getting a little sand in there, but she's not here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pan down a little bit of this, or all this concentrate here, and see what we got for a day's worth of prospecting, because we located a great spot. We're going to go back there tomorrow and just shovel into that sluice non-stop. Back in a bit. All right, I'll do 2 little scoops at a time there. Throw a little water on there, like such. And we'll do a little panning. Let me pan this stuff down and we'll see what we wound up with for today. Back in a bit. All right, we're done panning all that stuff. Got it all in my big blue getting her done pan over there, and it's still pouring rain out there. We're stuck in here. But it's almost 8 o'clock bedtime. So we're having another nice cold cocktail. And we got some gold there. Now, we didn't light the world on fire by any means, but we were only prospecting today. Let me get rid of some of them suds on there. Where? See that? We got some gold. Look at there. There's a couple of bigger pieces in there, along with a lot of smaller stuff. I'm quite happy with that. And that was the gold today. The absolute goal was to find the gold. Tomorrow we're gonna mine the gold. Back in a bit. All right, it's the next day. What a night. Those were some big storms that rolled through here, but we made her through just fine. Me and Rigby had a big breakfast and we're about to head out. I left all my other gear out there yesterday afternoon before we came in. And today I'm also going to bring with me my little stream sluice here. It's got the sawtooth matting in it. I might do a little classifying and run this just because I like to use all my equipment. You know, why not? So I'm going to load him up and we're headed down to the creek. Back in a bit. All right, we made it down to our spot. And let me tell you what, that water came way up. We got a lot of rain last night. But I got legs on my sluice, so I can do whatever I want. I'll have it set up just right again. Look at that big tailings pile there from yesterday. We'll move a little bit of material yesterday afternoon anyways, so we're gonna move a lot today. So we're gonna get to it. All right, we'll do a little video update. I got my sluice up and running there. There's just so much water here. I decided just to take the screen off of my big one over there. And do a little bit of classifying just because, whatever. You know, I got my homemade classifier here, and that baby, I can really classify a pail full of material quick with this thing. And I wanted to show you some of the things to watch out for. See this big rock right here? I'm gonna give you a hand reference size. Now that's just kind of laying in the bottom in all that clay. Well, the clay isn't going through that rock. The gold isn't going through that clay, and the clay and the gravel and the gold are sitting on top of that rock in certain locations along the bank and wherever you can see. The water is a little dirty right now, but that is a really good place to check for clay and gold. So I just took that rock right out of the bank over there, or right out in there, and I put it in my classifier here, and I just kind of brushed it off with my hand. And I did a couple of sample pans out of the clay right in here, and there's some really nice long pieces of gold in there. So I think we're gonna do quite well. Hopefully this water drops down a little bit today. It's raging. Well, compared to yesterday anyway. So that's what we're up to right now. I'm gonna get a full pail of that classified material, and we're gonna start running it over to sluice. Back in a bit. All right, we're running. Grab a little scoop out of there. Go right on here. See what's going on here. See all them ripples are swirling around real nice, creating a fluid bed action. That's what you want. We're running real well right now. Couldn't be happier. Rigby's got a little flat spot up there. It's starting to heat up though. Back in a bit. All right, let's do a little update. Well, the gold started petering out in there just a little bit because I do test pans pretty regularly just to make sure I'm still on the gold. I got my sluice out, I did a little cleanup, and I could tell instantly that I don't know if it's the high water or what it is. I'm just not getting the same gold as I was yesterday. So I switched over and I went over there and I did a little video clip over there, and I was still getting a little bit of gold, but I know there's better on this creek. So I decided to work my way down here in some of these deposits. As you can see, it's been deposited there by super high water. And I made my way down to this big pool that we were looking at yesterday. And I took a couple sample pans. As you can see, the current is going right here. I took a couple sample pans from this side here where the slack water, as you see, it's kind of coming back on itself right here. That's a low pressure zone. And the water's just too deep in there to work efficiently and effectively. Oh, there's that dead bird. Yuck. Well, so I moved over here and I took a few samples from this area right here just before it makes the next inside bend around this real sharp corner here. And let me tell you what, am I glad I did. Because right here, I'm getting really nice big pieces and a bunch of them. I only took 2 sample pans out of there, but they're both fantastic. So what I'm gonna do, since my sluice is way up there, I'm gonna grab my bucket and classifier, I'm going to fill it up here because there's some clay, but there's a lot more gravel and sand to play with. As you can see, here, I'll show you some of that clay right here. See that? That's what I'm dealing with, this stuff right here. See all that gravel there? Yeah. That's where the gold's at. Yum. So that's what I'm up to right now. Let me fill up a whole pail. I get my sluice set back up, and I'm going to start pounding this stuff here and there because there's a lot of material here to be worked. Back in a bit. All right, I did a half a 5-gallon pail test out of that new area over there. And I know it seems like I'm not running a lot of material, but it's important that I test the material that I do run. And now I do believe I found the area I want to work. Here's what I found in this new area. All right, that's half a 5-gallon pail there. I did a kind of a quick brush back. There's plenty of pieces, but there's some nice big ones in there, that's for sure. I'm pretty darn happy with that. And there's pieces scattered all over in there. And I got a lot more black sand, but that's a good sign. I'm getting some nice large pieces. That's what I'm looking for today, is some big pieces. And if that runs out, well, we're gonna prospect another spot. We got the whole day. It's about 85 degrees already. It's getting hot again. He's over there cooling off. Back in a bit. All right, we're gonna put a lid on this can here. Now I've got that system all wrapped up, put off to the side. We've been running quite a while. I've been doing some test pans as I've been prospecting here and running my sluices. So I know that I'm still working on the gold. And I got another pail of classified material here, and I've been running it on my little baby sluice. Why? Well, because I just like using all my equipment. And that sawtooth mat works great. And you get a little bit less, well, quite a bit less black sand to deal with when you're done as well. And this thing catches gold like you wouldn't believe. You just can't run quite as much material as you can with a system like that. So I'm gonna finish that pail off in there. I'm gonna bring all this equipment back up to the camper and put a wrap on this one here. And then I believe I'm gonna go and do a little prospect on another creek not far from here. Back in a bit. All right, we made it back to the camper. It is hot, hot, hot. So we're rehydrating here. Hold on a second. All right, I've got all my gold dumped out in this big blue getting her done pan over here in the shade where you guys can see it. Let's take a little look here. Look at that. There's some really nice pieces in there too. Great pieces. Look at that one right. That piece right there, that's a dandy. I don't even think that's a 1/4 gram. But you're not going to get rich in Wisconsin anyway. But you will have fun. That's a guarantee. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Flour Gold Wizards. We went out to one of our favorite creeks and we found some great gold. Did we get rich? Absolutely not. But I just love this hobby, and it's just one of many hobbies that you can get out there and do yourself. So until the next episode, like, share, subscribe. Please do leave a comment. Check out my Patreon page in the description below. Flour Gold Wizards out.